Welcome back, everyone, to Roofing Explained with our roofing expert. You already know it's Mike Feazel. And we are talking today to our homeowners out there. If you have had somebody come to your door, you have had a roofing inspection, the next thing on that list of things for them is going to be to give you a presentation of their product, their service, their findings of what they found on your roof. So this presentation, it is everything, all right? You can tell a lot from a presentation. We're going to give you everything you need to know in the next few minutes with our expert, Mr. Mike Feazel. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Man, as always. So Mike, maybe it's somebody's first time, how long have you been in the business? Can you give us a little bit of a rundown of your experience in roofing?
Yeah, I've been in the roofing business since 1985. When I graduated high school, I started with a friend of the family's. In '88, I started my own business with my brother. I started a year before he came back to be my partner. Put my dad's ladder on top of my car, my Honda Civic hatchback, and started the roofing business. So a long, long time. Things have changed considerably over the last, nearly 40 years, I guess.
They surely have, but some of the things have remained the same. And this, what we call the dining room presentation in roofing,
Yep.
It's still there.
Absolutely.
And so for somebody who maybe they only deal with the roof 2 to 3 times maybe in the lifetime of being in that home. Somebody comes to the home, they're inspecting the roof. Walk us through what they should expect to happen next after that individual has done an inspection, which we talked about in a previous episode.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different ways you can go about it. For us, right, I like a guide to step the customer through the experience, the journey, what they can expect. Who are we? What do our reviews look like? What's our insurance look like? How are we protecting you? How is our safety protocols on your roof, around your home? How do we clean up? How do we care for the home? Of course, warranties, all of that. So it's just a step-by-step process. Some people do it on a computer, a laptop, iPad. Other contractors will just sit there and have the conversation. But for me, it's important to have a process so that every customer gets that same experience and we check off all of the important boxes. It doesn't need to be a 2-hour dog and pony show. You hear about, homeowners, they have to throw the guy out of the home or the sales rep out of the home. We've all heard those stories. I don't believe in high pressure. This is consumer facing, so I will say this. I do expect a contractor to ask for your business. I don't believe in just quoting work and walking away. You ask the customer nicely if they would like to, is there anything that would stop us from doing business tonight? If the customer says, yes, I need to speak to my wife or I need to speak to my husband, then they should respect that.
They're normally not going to be the one that is actually putting on the roof. Can you at least break down for homeowners how oftentimes these people that are sitting in front of them, how they make their money? Because I think that's important to understand. I'm not saying for everybody, but most of the time.
I think it's a great question you could ask somebody, which is, are you going to be on the job? Are you going to be doing the roof? Or are you going to be here for quality control? Will I never see you again? And that's fine, right? At Feazel Roofing, our old company, we were a very large company. Our sales reps, there was a high demand, so they were in front of the next customer. But we had a quality control person that came out, introduced the crew, walked around with the customer, and at the end of the job came out when it was complete to walk around with the customer and make sure they're satisfied. So there isn't one right way to do it, but I would want to know, right? Ask those questions. Okay,
Yes.
if you're not going to be here, who's the crew leader?
Yes.
Is there quality control? What's your process? Those are great questions to ask. And different size companies will have different structures in place.
So it's not a red flag if that individual is not going to be the one actually putting on your roof. That can be something that is common depending on the size and the structure of the company.
I would say most companies, the person that is there will not be putting on your roof.
There could be very wide differences in price
Yes.
that 2 contractors or 3 contractors give you at that dining room table.
Yeah.
If you see one that's much less or much more, could this be what we call a builder's grade or 3-tab architectural shingle?
Yeah.
Because it can seem like a foreign language to a homeowner.
Yeah, no, great question. So that's the job of the contractor, to educate that customer so they understand the difference between a builder's grade, a premium roof system, one contractor's labor versus their labor, right? The skilled craftsman, and everything across the board, right? If you have a company that has a dedicated quality control person or people, a team of people, driving around and overseeing the quality from the crews before, during, and after, that cost has to be carried somewhere, and it's going to be built into that cost of the job. And all of those little things add up in the market.
So it sounds like what you're telling me, though, because I think this is so key for a homeowner to understand, is that if there is a large deviation within the price, it doesn't mean that somebody's trying to screw you over. It
Sometimes.
could mean they could be,
Yeah.
but you need to ask the questions to get down to the root of why is there such a deviation that we see right now.
And a great yes, 100%. And a great contractor will show you in their presentation.
Now, what about the expectation of what somebody should expect? We sit down at that dining room table. Should I expect an estimate? Should I expect a number while they are there?
You have to have a written estimate, a detailed written estimate. Without it, you can't compare the apples to apples. And again, to me, it's the job of the contractor to educate that customer and let them understand what's going on. And don't always be trying to sell everything. Just be transparent, give them the education, and then if you've done your job, they're going to understand the value or not the value that you offer. Unfortunately, most contractors don't spend the time to educate. They come in with 10 line items, and this is what I'm doing, and do you want to buy? They try to close you, and I'll take 20% off if you're ready to buy today. And,
Correct.
And all of that. So,
can you give me some things as somebody looks over that estimate, because they're getting presented with it right now?
Yep.
Some line items, Mike, that they should look for right off the bat, and if they don't see them, perhaps something they need to ask for, because I feel like there are things that they could overlook, or maybe there's things that they see on one estimate they don't see on the other. Is this even important?
Yeah.
Give me something on the estimate that they need to be looking for.
Every estimate should have some type of an underlayment. Anywhere in the country, even if it's not code. Underlayment goes between the wood decking and the asphalt shingle, right? So you need a waterproofing underlayment. Ventilation is really overlooked.
Yeah.
Far more roofs are underventilated than not. Ventilation traps the heat in the attic, which then that heat bakes the asphalt, and it bakes the oils out of the asphalt, so a roof fails quicker. Mm-hmm. It also drives that temperature down into the home. Like on a 2-story home in the summertime, you'll have the upstairs being much warmer than the downstairs because of radiant heat pushing into the home. Can cause mold problems in the winter in northern climates because if you're not getting the moisture out of the attic, it sits in the insulation, which lowers the R value, which creates condensation in the attic and attic mold and all kinds of other things. So ventilation is extremely, extremely important.
Ventilation is an area where a contractor genuinely can be looking out for your best interest in the longevity of your roof.
Yeah, you can easily spend $3,000 to $4,000 worth of attic fans on a home installed properly, even solar fans to get adequate ventilation. But on a $20,000 or $25,000 roof, your payback will come from AC, right? Lowered air conditioning cost, lower heating costs because you're keeping in the winter, you're keeping that insulation has to be drier. The R value drops. The maintenance and the wear and tear on those units, AC and furnace, not to mention all of the risk of attic mold, structural damage, and just making that roof last longer.
Yes.
So, ventilation is way, way overlooked.
What is an acceptable amount of money, in your opinion, for an individual to put down before the job ever begins?
50%. It's there's a large investment in that job, buying the material, getting it scheduled, getting it on the calendar. So 50% is very normal. You'll see companies between a third and 50%. Anything over 50%, I think, is too much, but we ask for 50%. You shouldn't be concerned with that 50% if you've made a good, educated buying decision and you've done your due diligence on that contractor, right? Not just I like him or her because, I trust them because they're at the home, but because I've really done my homework. I know I've seen them around. I know that they've got the reviews. I know they've been in business for 7 years, 17 years, whatever it is. They have a facility. They've showed up on time. When I call, they answer the phone. Right? All of the things.
Mm-hmm. And now if it comes time and they've done that, they trust their individuals, you say, and hey, listen, they've given what they believe is a fair price. Then it comes down to signing the contract there at the dining room table. And this is where things can get a little bit different between roofing contractors. The type of contract that a homeowner should be expected to sign. Are there anything that they should be looking out for that could be detrimental to them or beneficial to them depending on the project and the contractor they're working with?
It's going to be, with smaller companies, it's what the customer's comfortable with. They tend to be more flexible. A larger company like us, we need 50% deposit the day that we sign the agreement, and we put it on the calendar. And that's just the way that, Home Depot is going to do the same thing, and any big remodeling company is going to do the same thing, because they have to pay, right? That material has to be ordered. It has to be, right? All of those things have to happen. It has to go into a production department, get put onto a calendar. Now, some customers may say, hey, I'm willing to pay 10% deposit today, and I'll pay the remaining 40% when the material hits my driveway. Because it's not a big company that you're confident with. But you do like that individual that came to your home and they did your neighbor's roof, and right, but still, I really want to see the material hit my driveway before I'm going to give you the second 40% or the remaining 50%. And that's fair, and I think most contractors will accept that.
These in-home presentations, it's really your first real introduction to that roofing contract that you're going to be using. We know you met them at the door. Now you're getting a chance to see what their company is all about in that presentation. So I hope you got a lot of great information with our roofing expert here on Roofing Explained, Mr. Mike Feazel. We'll see you on the next episode, everyone.